Okay, cool. So let's get to it. Facilitating available designs with InsertLearning. Available designs is one thing. InsertLearning would be the other thing. If you have your computers or if you have my computer, open them up. Does everyone have Chrome?
Does it have to be Chrome?
It has to be Chrome.
I never used it, but I do.
Okay, well, there will be time to install it. If you guys want to get a head start, install Chrome on your computer, next computer. New?
Doesn't have anything.
Is it new? Just new. This is new air. Okay.
Did you want to know? You got your way comparison.
You know, so let's do questions. Yeah.
Okay, Chrome is on.
So Chrome, so I go to Firefox to download it.
So go to Firefox to download
I
Chrome,
don't know.
whatever.
Chrome.
Okay. Okay. Let's look at questions. What is that? What are available designs? This may or may not be something you're familiar with. If you, and I don't remember if you have come to the discussion group. You have not. No, that's okay. The question still stands.
What are we talking about here? What are available designs that are available?
What are available designs that are available? That would be one way to answer this question.
Online,
What are
like
available?
booklet.
Yeah.
Yeah, designs that are available online on the booklet, catalog.
Well, and this is
This is in relation to what?
This would be in relation to education or language teaching, because this is a workshop on technology and language teaching.
Oh, are we talking about the design of lesson plan or syllabus? Just fill it.
Yes, okay, so in that direction. Rather, it's away from technology, more in the direction of it's okay if you guys have no idea what it is, that's fine. No clue, never heard of it. Okay. No idea. Perfect. Cool. Okay, well then in that case, this question, which is the extrapolation, the first question will probably also not be very useful here, nor will be the third question. But what we could do is we could take a look at available designs and what this term stands for, and then go back to the previous questions. Okay, so to read up the slide, which is a really bad thing to do, linguistic, cultural, and social resources that do the following: that students use to understand and create texts, that characterize texts, that may be targeted by instructors in designing learning activities, and that are different across different texts and for different students as they are defined by students' experiences. Those are the four bullet points that are consistently emphasized in the literature. I'll give you a minute to kind of internalize them and make sense of them.
So it has to do with text.
Yeah. Well, it deals with text,
With
yes,
written
but the text
with
would
written
be.
text.
Hmm?
With written text.
So it would be text. I'll give you a hint here. When thinking about the text, don't limit yourself to thinking about this. This is text. It's just one small fraction of the available texts that we can look at. There are more other things that could be text.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. So, how do you understand available designs then? In your own words.
Based on those bullet points and based on your examples, I'm thinking about any kinds of text that is not communication, probably like video, songs, things like that, which is available for us to use to help students improve their learning activity.
Alessandro to the rescue. We're starting with available designs.
Okay.
Can you tell us what they are, and how do you understand them?
So it's
Since you came to the discussion group.
so all these resources that we can use in class as authentic materials, also songs, images, tag, any kind of tags in the text is something which tells something about.
So from one standpoint, right, this is the stuff that can be targeted by instructors in designing learning activities. So those would be the text, right? Those would be written text, songs, visuals, could be clothing, could be space, gestures, so on and so forth. But on the other hand, it is also the things that students use to decode and to understand these cues and these bits of knowledge. So one way to look at available designs is as these packets of experiences and information and knowledge that exists or are brought into the space of a classroom, that are then brought on by instructors as well as by students. And they could be encoded under various guises like this, that, videos, music, gestures, and so on and so forth. And there's a ton of them, okay? Apart from the ones that we've mentioned so far, what other available designs can you think of? Apart from like the 5 different types that I just mentioned, what are some other ones that you can?
Can you repeat the other 5 again?
Yeah, but the four of them you mentioned yourself. So that would be video, that would be song, right?
Films.
The film, sure, the video, text, that's 4. Images, gestures.
And devices.
So anything convey some sort of a meaning. A device, sure. Why not? Design.
So something more than that.
So anything convey some sort of meaning that could be used as instructors or by us as instructors in preparation materials, and that at the same time helps our students decode meaning. Right.
You talked about gestures as well?
I did talk about gestures. Well, I don't know if I remember mentioning gestures, but I want you guys to, and this will look familiar to you, I think. I don't know if you were there, Alessandra.
It was the second, not the first one.
Okay, why don't you guys go here?
Using Chrome.
This is using whatever browser you want.
Well, so I'm going
Sure.
to Chrome.
The activity we have to
Chrome.
use.
Do we need to log in or just the sign?
Nope, just put in the,
Okay.
type in the login.
It's better if we use Google,
Chrome.
Chrome or Chrome or.
I mean, Chrome is usually the kind of most versatile browser.
My kids are Chrome, so it's old because I use Safari.
Oh, I use Safari too.
No, it's
I use
for other
Firefox.
people, for the elderly.
I prefer Firefox.
Or Internet Explorer.
No.
I used to be a Chrome user for a long time, and then I discovered that it is very energy intensive, or it used to be. Would eat up the battery like crazy, so I switched to Safari, which was better at that time, but then they changed. Okay, so
Very good page.
oh, cool. Okay, so you guys have a page. There are 5 different categories on this page, right?
So we cannot.
Okay, so there's linguistic, schematic, visual, audio, and gestural. And what I would like you to do now is to take a look at this list of different types of available designs and try to assign them to the 5 categories, or the 6 categories that you see in front of you.
Oh,
Wait a second.
so if I am writing, you can see it?
I will, yes, but I will have to switch screens first. So, wait a second. So there's a list of different types of available design. And I want you to
We
take a
can
look
see
at it and then assign it to the different categories by adding them accordingly.
Ah.
So is it okay if I put one for?
Yeah, that's fine. And you will notice that hopefully some of these will fit into more than one category.
Yeah. This one is okay, right?
Sure. It's your workshop.
Oh, we have spatial as well.
Yeah,
There's
we
6
can
of
go
them.
to the right. We have a station.
How do I go back to the... I cannot go back to the linguistic now. How do I do that? Okay,
It's good.
Fingers.
Can you help you if you pay the tablet? You pay the program?
No.
No?
It's free. I mean, I use the free version.
I was asking. Oh, where have we come from? I was writing a note.
So I see what the other one.
Yeah.
Refresh it.
Um,
So,
What's you?
I don't know what to say. Gracias.
salute.
Merci. Special. What do we have in special? No.
Spatial is
Spatial could be, since the
Landscape,
question is voting, could be things like
side.
perspective.
perspective.
Could be landscape. Next to the right of the word landscape, you see the word content, which is a typo. It should say content.
Oh,
Spatial. Body posture, thoughts, motion.
Proximity is also going to be in spatial category. Spacing itself.
Movies. Visual. Oh, again.
Visual or linguistic? Or gestural even, I think.
Emojis. Linguistic.
Linguistic,
Visual.
Visual, well, visual will be like sort of the first layer of this person's meaning, right? But you also have the actual gestures
Yeah,
that
the linguistic.
emojis signify, right?
Mhm.
So it could be gestural as well. And these are all the things that we are using to exchange information, sort of to communicate as speakers, as instructors, but we also use these available designs, as they're called, in order to decode the meaning. And all of these are present across different language systems, different cultures. These will, of course, vary. The multi-literacy framework, the multi-literacy approach that we are focusing on this semester draws very heavily on them, simply because they are what they make up the texts that we're working with. And since multi-literacy are a text-based approach, it makes sense that these things would be included. Now, last Friday we had Mark Kaiser talk about some of these available designs in the context of his presentation on video clips and videos in general. So this shouldn't be anything entirely foreign. Okay, let's see what you pasted here. Oh, wow, very nice. Let's blow it up there. I don't think we'll be able to. I can kind of see all of them. Okay, do we see anything that sort of fits into more than linguistics, into more than one category? So we have linguistic, syntax, of course, schematic, for sure, and spatial probably not. Anything else? Emojis would be another category that fits, that can be assigned to multiple taxonomies here. So you guys kind of have an idea, and I think one more general, bigger realization that we should be all making here is that these things are not clear-cut, right? Because, or at least many of them aren't. Just because something fits into audio doesn't mean that it won't fit into visual, doesn't mean that it won't fit into schematic or gestural spatial. Like a movie would be a perfect example of a medium that includes, or a text, using the multi-literacy framework approach, that includes all of these types of available designs. Any questions at this point? Do we all know what available designs are? Jose Antonio, you have a lot of thoughts. It seems
Yeah, that, I'm just wondering where is this taking us?
Oh well, it's about the journey, not the destination. You will see in a second. Okay, where is this taking us? Cool. So, going back to our presentation here, if I can. Okay, so we've got these types here, and this sort of just summarizes everything that we've done. So essentially, what I did is I went into, or I took this list and assigned them. But you guys did a pretty good job doing the same work on your own too. Moving on. Okay. So here are the available design types listed again. And since we are talking multi-literacies here, and since we're working with text, it would be nice to see how they are present in a text itself. And to that end, I wanted you to look at InsertLearning with me, which is that tool that we're going to be talking about today. First thing, I want you to make sure that you get Google Chrome on your computers. Do you need one more computer?
Why do you have to come? I am making the shift.
Okay.
I cover everything here.
All right, so if you have Google, everyone has Google Chrome?
Yeah.
Okay, open it up. So is it open?
Yeah. I know.
No.
We go to instant.
And now you go to InsertLearning.com. And I will walk you through the process because I don't happen to have InsertLearning on this computer either.
So you can add,
It's free.
It's free.
You wrote instant, you wrote insert.
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 Learning.com. Yeah. So I with Google.
add to Chrome, it's free. Yep.
So you should see something like this once you've typed the
Yes.
URL. Okay, so
So
add
the
it.
next step, and the next step.
Add Chrome.
Yeah.
And then it should take you right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Chrome.
And then add to Chrome. Is it on your
I
phone?
did it.
Okay, cool. So add to Chrome. Right here.
And then they have this, okay.
Then add extension.
And now?
Okay, and now we are already using
Yeah.
InsertLearning. So now you have to sign up with Google, which again it will be Lion Mail.
Okay.
So you click sign up with Google. If you are already logged into your
No.
browser or with your Lion Mail,
It's incorrect.
Oh, verify Zoom.
it should take you to the
Ah,
Columbia
no,
University
no.
window, and
And
then
then
eventually
it's
once you've logged in, you should see something like this. Raise your hand when you're there. Okay. Here, sure. Continue.
Should I use stickers then?
No. That's it. No, I tried.
Okay, cool. So we're all here, and we're all teachers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are teachers.
So we click that we're teachers, and then let's create a class.
Name of class.
Oh, I don't know. Workshop.
Everybody has to verify?
No, you don't have to,
Yes, we
but it will be helpful.
Which first describe to
Okay, now at this point it should take you, well, it's going to take me here because I've already created something for you. Which,
How to do this?
okay, which best describes your role? You're a
Three
teacher.
things.
And then you teach world language,
So you can
13 plus. Okay, so it's asking you now, it should be asking you to create a lesson in 3 steps, right? You don't want to do that, you don't want to do this yet. No, because what we will do right now is interact with the lesson instead. So, what I'm going to have you guys do is go to, well, this, and then, Okay, here's the link. Hold on a second. So, okay, now that you are already there, okay, let's go back here. Okay, I want you to open up a new tab in your browser,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to bit.ly.com/022819 LRC. Today's date. So it's today's date and LRC.
It's the Washington Post.
Yes, it should be Washington Post, capital LRC.
Class
LRC. LRC.
Class code.
Okay, hit it.
Class code. Couldn't find your class.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the class code is this.
Ah, okay.
PX962X.
Success.
And you should enroll.
When you read success, is
Okay, so now you see something that looks like, let's see here.
1 point.
Well, this is just an example, but you see, okay, it's loaded, where is it?
From here.
There we go, now it's loaded. Okay, so you see that there, it's just a regular Washington Post site, which I pulled up today. But on this site, there are a few things that I added.
Super cool.
So, the first question would be, what available designs can you identify on this page? Highlight and comment on the relevant examples. I added a little sticky right here.
Gestures,
Hmm.
spatial,
There's a question right here. What's your opinion on the summit? So I want you guys to just take a few minutes to interact with these questions and kind of see what happens, what you can do, how you can answer them. Can you highlight things? Can you write? Can you add stickies to it? It's not a live site anymore. It's a version of the Washington Post from earlier today, but it is still, it still behaves as any other website would, okay, or text would. Now, in terms of the available designs that you can identify on this page, I'm
Yeah,
going to
can
go
you
back.
open the PowerPoint?
I'm going to have to go back to the PowerPoint. Right here.
No.
So you're highlighting. now
So
that
the
you've
first
highlighted-
question is about all the page.
Yeah.
Because the image is,
Well, the image would be an available design too.
yeah.
So,
the
but
image,
it's
inside the image, there are many other available designs.
right. Mm-hmm. It's more for you just to see how the system would work if you were a student interfacing, because effectively this is what you're doing right now. You're being my students in the class that I put together. So you just highlighted it, right?
You have to highlight all the available designs,
Mhm.
right?
Right. So now what happens is this is highlighted, and then two things happen. You got this brush right here, it came up, and you get this plus sign came up. So what happens when you click on the brush? Change the color. Which is silly, but it might be useful when you're trying to highlight 3 or 4 different things. Now what happens when you click the plus sign? You can comment on it. So you can highlight this, let's say, and tell me, or if you're a student or instructor, that this is writing or linguistic or.
Oh, it's just the available design, not the design.
Mm-hmm. So you scroll down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did. Come on. Scroll down.
Scroll down. Even further. Go up So today we had a summit, well, not we, but our president had a summit. Go here and go back.
I'm so fast.
Hmm?
It's so fast.
What is
That you know, like, so strange.
Visuals?
You have here the start of the picture, the image. This is
This reviews. Maybe this is still a regular site that will behave like a regular site.
It's my face,
So
try to
how can you
respond.
post, probably post.
Maybe post. Okay, let's see this.
So you can add the questions whenever you want.
Yeah, but so you can, as you see, I place them randomly, but you can insert these questions, you can insert these prompts, wherever you want, however you want, as long as you assign them to bits of text. Now, what this means is that it's not going to allow you, unfortunately, to label a picture. So you can't click on a picture and label it. And we're going to do a few exercises like this soon. But on the positive note is that whenever you have a picture on the internet, there's usually some sort of a caption. There's usually a bit of text next to the picture. You don't usually just have a picture by itself. And you can use this text as an anchor to which you can attach these question prompts. Of course, the questions could be about anything and everything. I chose to use it as a way to look at the text through the lens of these available designs to see what it is that we are working with. And this brings me to our next point here, which is, where are we going with this? Like, why do we need to know about available designs? Well, first of all, they are an integral part of the multiliteracies framework. It is something that our students bring. It is a knowledge that our students bring into the class. It is knowledge that we're trying to impart on our students. And it is also something that the 4 learning processes highlighted in the multiliteracies framework are focusing on. Okay. So I'm gonna skip this, but essentially these 4 learning processes are interpretation, they're collaboration, problem solving, and reflection and self-reflection. And those are, the way to think about them is the 4 pillars. Or 4 pillars. There's the 4 different types of activities, the 4 different sort of ways in which students engage with the material, and by material I mean text, right? Which then contains available design, and then students are using the bits and knowledge that they have, they bring from outside of the classroom their own available designs to engage with this text. And they do it in these 4 different ways. So they can interpret text, they can collaborate based on the text, they can problem solve based on the text, and they can reflect and self-reflect using the text. Okay? I'm going to give you a minute or 2 to kind of read through it and see how you understand it. How you understand these 4 different categories.
Just
I'm so happy now because this doesn't happen
I
again.
think it's getting old, so.
Yeah. This is what happened.
I can
with
buy
the-
it again, so it's. It's small.
Yeah, but this is a small because it's not the pro. It's true, we have it.
It's a cool sleeve.
Yeah, I thought everything.
I like it. It's pretty sweet.
Yes.
Okay, does this make sense how these two are connected, how these are related? And by these two, I mean the learning processes and available designs. Maybe I'll sketch it out.
What?
Yeah. And Alessandra, feel free to help me since we
Yes,
discussed
so-
it last week.
For me, what is new is the concept of.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of jargon here, but I mean, this is, I don't think this is anything outlandish, I don't think this is anything foreign, and this is, those are, we've been working with these things, and we're certainly aware of them, it's just a matter of how they are categorized, kind of where they fit into this new, well, not new, but into this framework that I'm talking about here. Okay, so, we have multi-literacies, and they are, it's a framework, right? And that is essentially based on text. And by text, I don't mean just the letters, I mean anything that contains information. Could be text. And then the text is comprised of these available designs. Right? So these pieces of information. But it is also the case that students bring their own available designs in order to decode this text. So this would be their how they engage with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this in turn could be further parsed into interpretation, collaboration, problem solving, reflection.
Very new.
Does this make more sense visually
Yes.
now? Cool. Okay. So how do we understand interpretation in your own words?
How the student understand the text, how they can paraphrase the text based on their understanding.
Perfect. Collaboration.
How students make use of the available design of the text and to improve their understanding.
I think in collaboration, you don't have the student alone doing the work. I think you have more than one person in order to collaborate.
Absolutely.
You need
Oh, yeah. Right.
more than one.
Can students interpret while collaborating?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And can they problem solve while collaborating?
that's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
All of these things are kind of intertwined.
They're all interrelated, yeah, kind of like the available designs themselves. We can categorize them, there's the taxonomy that helps us make sense of it. But generally speaking, they're all interrelated. And one sort of results from the other, they can happen concurrently, they don't need to happen concurrently. In fact, it's pretty difficult to isolate them apart from each other. But those would be the four sort of trajectories along which we want to think when designing materials, when designing curricula, when thinking about how our students will be learning, which goes back to the learning goals that we discussed last week and learning objectives. So, since we are talking about, why did it do that? I don't know. Since we are talking about curricular design, I want you guys now to go back to InsertLearning should still have the Washington Post page open. Yeah. And you should still have this toolbar open on the left-hand side. Do we all have it? Do you all see it? It's not going to look like this, but it should have these 3 dots standing for more options at the very bottom. If you click on them, it will allow you to go to the dashboard. Let's go to the dashboard. And then up in the dashboard, right, you should see Washington Post. You can see lessons. There's a few other things, a few other functionalities that are listed. One is grades. So once you've established a class, you can use this as a sort of assessment. If you want, you can assign points to different questions that you place on the site. You can, of course, create classes. I now have 2. Public library is pretty interesting, whereby you can search through the resources that are already available that have been prepared by other instructors and see what's there. Perhaps you will find something that you don't need to work on, maybe will be suitable for your own instructions. And then moving further to the right, you have resources where there's a search bar, some examples, and there's a help center too. Okay. This is searchable by subject, and by subject, it allows you, let's say, world language, grade level. Since we are teaching college, it's going to be 13 plus. Share by whoever. So there's a whole lot. There's a bunch in French, it looks like. German kids try American candy, that's German. Getting started. This is a relatively new tool. Nothing in Spanish, which just tells you how new it is. But if you want to, I don't know, if you want to develop something in Spanish, you might need to first have a Spanish text, right? Which could be a newspaper, it could be a website of like a museum in Spain.
Spanish directly?
Okay. So let's go back to lessons. And let's create a lesson, since we are all instructors on this platform. I will give you a second to go back to the lessons tab.
This is the story in Italian.
Oh yeah. She has something.
I know there's something in Italian. There's a big one.
This is for me,
Where
was
are you?
for the...
So what is it that you want to do now?
I want you to go to the lessons tab right here.
To new lesson.
Well, let's first go to the tab and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Lesson.
Lesson, okay, so let's just create a new lesson now.
Yes.
And you will see that it gives you basically 2 options. There's one option is to sort of create a new lesson by clicking this icon here. The other one is by using this search bar. Okay? What I want you to do now is to take a look at these curricular components first. Reflection, interpretation, collaboration, problem solving, reflection, and self-reflection.
It's over there.
And then think of a website in the target language, so Indonesian, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, that that contains text that you can use in order to create activities that would engage either 1 or 2 or 3 or all of these processes. So daily paper news would probably be easiest, but you're welcome to use something else. So first think about the website and then go there.
To search?
No, just think about a website. This will be independent of InsertLearning for now. Okay, perfect. What I'm going to do is, let's see, I will go to, since we all speak English here, and I already use Washington Times, I will go to Fox News.
I have another one.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. times.
Right.
That's fine, yeah. I mean, this is just an example, you know. Okay. Voice of São Paulo?
What is São Paulo?
And so once you're on this on the site of your choosing, you will notice that in the upper right hand corner you have this IL sign.
You have to open the page and then see.
So
the
at first
site.
you just go to the site,
Okay.
okay, which we all have done, and then in the upper right hand corner you should have an icon here, IL. So when you click this icon, this should happen,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, by clicking this icon, you've started a lesson creation process. Now, normally what I do is I just click out of it, because this will come with a predetermined template, which may or may not be suitable for what it is that you're trying to do. And you're always, welcome to look into it later.
So dismiss.
Or click anywhere else. It should get rid of the window. You're still left with this panel on the side.
So,
Mm-hmm. And let's say, and this is the panel that allows you to insert things on the page. So let's say that, let's see here, interpretation, collaboration, problem solving, reflection, and self-reflection. Jordan Meadows referred Cohen to DOJ for allegedly lying to Congress again. Okay, let's say that I want to insert a question. And I want to insert a question about this heading right here. So I'm going to highlight it. And then if you want to, in the question, so in the question box right here, the first thing in the upper right-hand corner is the points that you can assign to the question if you want to turn it into some sort of assessment. I will leave it at 5 points right here. You can select a prepared question if you want. They've already prepared a bunch. But since we are talking about world
so
language,
there's a skim the text, or so there's
so what I would want to do here, and going back to the curricular components, one of which is interpretation, or maybe even problem solving. What do you think, or perhaps how would, I don't know, maybe write a letter explaining yourself to your mother if you were going, and I create it.
Can I interrupt you?
And
So where have you clicked before? In here, on the left? Create a
So
question.
on the left, yes. So there's a bunch of options here, right? It starts with a sign, but we'll get to that later. You can highlight text,
Yeah.
and highlighting text would be just, I don't know, like so you click highlight,
the single words.
and then let's say I highlighted this,
And then
and then there's two things that I can do. I can either remove it, I can change the color of it, or I can add a comment.
okay.
So Senate Mrs. Trump picked to replace Kavanaugh. Is this should judge be be replaced? And this is a comment. This is not obviously something that is horrible, but nevertheless it can be used to point things out. Another thing that we can do is say cheeseburger, meat bashing, AOC lashes out, and then menu to pick a burger eating aid. So we can insert a sticky note here, and in this sticky note you will see that there's this video bit right here, this video icon, which means that there's a couple things that we can do. we can record ourselves and place the recording in the sticky note, which is if you want your students actually recorded the responses, they would be able to. They'll be able to do it orally.
The thing is, students also need to have Google Chrome,
Yeah.
and also they should get this.
Yeah, so the only prerequisite for this is Google Chrome, which I am 80% sure that I'm sure that 80% of your students will have. And secondly, they will have to get this free plugin in order for them to be able to use it.
Have you told us to do this or to skip it?
Skip it.
Skip it.
I mean, you can see what this offers at home. Essentially, what it gives you is just a bunch of templates that are fillable. So this would be another type of question or interaction that you can have with the site. You can also insert text, sticky note, question, and then you can insert a discussion. Which is the same essentially as inserting a question.
I have a question.
Yes,
Okay.
there.
Where can you find the final product? I mean, like after my students answer everything, where can I see it so I can give them scores?
Well, let's go there.
And before, what link do you give them?
Okay. So now that we've gone through all of this here, let's go to more options. And from here, there are a couple things you can do. You can view this as a student, which is this is what your students will see. You can also resume teacher review. Going back to options, you can share with teachers, and you can then finally assign it to students. So,
Assign to students? Okay.
so if you hit
Fine.
assign it to students,
Yeah.
you will see that there are classes. I think with the free version of this tool, you can have up to 5 classes at the same time. So if I want to, let's say, share this with you guys, I'm going to share it with this, and I'm going to share the link.
Okay.
It's gone.
You have to resume the teacher view.
When I resume the teacher's view, it's gone.
What's gone?
My article?
When you exited the teacher's view?
No, I had student view and then I went back to the teacher's view and then got my posted or my questions are all on there. So this is the teacher's view and then I had the question right over here. It's not anymore.
Very good.
That happens. Let's go ahead and refresh it.
Está bien. Sí. No tiene esto. No tiene nada. Tienes que cumplirlo todo.
Yo tengo muchas cosas.
Yo tampoco. No,
Okay, I'm gonna look into it.
se puede Nothing.
Only this.
Only this.
Okay, so I sign it from Blackberry.
And then you click the link.
It's a very used.
And so once you click the link will be pasted to the clipboard. I'll give you a second to resume. So the link is stored in your computer, and what you can do is just paste it. So you can paste it here, open up a new tab, or you can paste it in the email if you want to share it with your students. There are many ways to do it. Now, let's go back to the dashboard really quick and see here in this class. Let's go to the dashboard again. Let's go to classes. So right here, under the classes in the dashboard, is where you have all your classes listed, and I have two right now. One of them is where you guys are at, and it shows me there's one lesson, there's 4 students, and 1 teacher that is me. I can invite co-teacher, I can edit info, but there was a question about grades. How would we do with this? How would we grade it? And here's where I can see your answers. Here's like where I can provide your feedback, and if I want to score it, then I can assign a score right here. Okay.
It's good.
Anything else? That ran into a problem
Yep, got it.
whereby the questions just disappeared.
I
Um,
got it.
you got it
was-
back?
Yeah, that was different article.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
Yeah, converted it went to different.
Yeah, if you're right, so if you're in Chrome and if you have this plugin open, it is very unlikely that any of your work will just get erased. Things really should not disappear, or at least I haven't run into it yet. Okay, let's go back to the present. Maybe we'll finish on time today. Wow, that would be fantastic. Okay, curricular components. So we went over that. Okay, next week, well, next meeting. So, next thing that's happening is the discussion group, 2:30 till 3:30. This is upcoming Monday, downstairs in 254. And we'll talk about grammar and vocabulary, again, in the context of the multi-literacies framework, and then how we can use this multi-literacies approach to, again, teach language through text with a focus on vocabulary and
Can I ask you another question? Sorry.
Mhm.
In this insert, what's the name?
learning.
Insert learning,
Mhm.
while the students work, they can see the answers of the other students.
No, they cannot.
So they just work with the text.
They work with the text, yes.
And then I see their answers.
Yes, yes. It's not.
It's not collaborative.
It's not going to be collaborative in the sense that the collaboration will not be conveyed in the screen. You can still have them work together.
Yeah.
But no, it's not
They
shared.
could collaborate if you insert the discussion, right?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot about that
because-
feature. So, okay, right. So when it comes to the discussion, they should be able to see the responses.
Mm,
So all the
okay.
responses will appear there.
In the box. Yeah, so
Mhm.
that would be the collaborative feature, the collaborative
Okay.
component.
Okay.
Very good. There's a reading for.
So
Yes.
I never got, sorry,
That's
I never
okay.
got where is the link?
Where is the link? The link is stored on the clipboard. So let's say if you want to open up a new tab and then paste.
I don't know if they
That
will
is the
see
link.
my,
That is the link.
my question
That's what I
at the end
get.
of the
Mhm.
page.
Yes,
For
that's,
each class?
You know,
So-
like
So
find the
if I develop a lesson, then I go immediately to find that link.
which are you teaching?
If I develop another lesson,
I'm
this link.
teaching intermediate.
It will
First
be- it will be
disappear,
different.
and it will be a
Starting
different
the
link
class.
for the second
We
lesson.
can project
So I
the
would have to
answers.
get that link and
You know,
Or
whatever
you
is
can-
somewhere.
right
Oh,
from
you
the
can go
computer.
to
So
the
this is the
dashboard.
way to read. That's
Your
good.
lessons.
I'm teaching elementary.
And then we can go back to
You
assign
can-
here.
You can
and
work, for
here's-
example,
and
with a
here's where you have
formulary
focus.
or, you know.
So
they're all gonna be
of
listed here.
labor,
Okay.
what
So you don't have to write them down. It's just
yeah.
that it
Of
doesn't.
synapses, Basic.
The link
Answers.
doesn't appear in the box because usually it's a randomly generated string of numbers, and it's just a lot easier to have it automatically copied into the dashboard. Okay, for the reading group, there's a reading, chapter 3. If you want to come, please do so. This semester we're trying to tie the technology workshops and discussion groups together a little bit tighter. This is it for today.